Recording in progress.
Hello and welcome to an interesting episode of Cranial Diarrhea. I'm Tiff.
And I am recording in progress. That's what I'm going with today. And by the way, folks, we're having to do something a little different today because COVID has kind of reared its head. So we're kind of doing this separate. And we're going to do a Zoom. And I have a soundboard. So daughter will never know when I change her voice. So this is going to be so much fun.
Yeah, so COVID is running rampant through my household. I say that, but only one person is sick. But still, it's like the worst possible person that could have gotten sick, got sick.
Hey.
It's just the whole thing.
And the cool part is
so grumpy.
just so everybody knows how cool this really is. We actually last week did a show. I know everybody missed because there was no volume. So we were doing the whole show and it was like this.
We recorded I have a 45-minute video.
Yes.
On my laptop. No sound.
No sound at all. Probably the best show we've ever done. Quite possibly. So in the process of that, I left my notes at daughter's house in my notebook. So we are going through it today. We're going to kind of redo because it really was a cool show talking about mermaids and stuff. But I might say something that's totally, because I can't read this writing where she sent me a picture of it. So who knows what I'm going to say, but hey, it's going to be fun.
We'll see. Why are you wearing that? What's up with the shirt?
What? What's wrong with the shirt?
Like, why are you wearing like a collared?
Because I'm recording in progress.
Meanwhile, I'm in a tank top that literally says boats and hoes.
Listen, here's the thing.
Boats and hoes.
My fans, when I introduce myself as recording in progress, this is what you're going to hear. Thank you. Thank you.
I don't hear anything.
You didn't hear anything? It was applause.
I don't hear it.
Maybe the soundboard's not going to work on your end. Oh, well, here we go. All right. So in the boats and hoe corner.
Hey, it's kind of fitting, right? Because we're talking about mermaids.
It really is. And here's the interesting thing. We have some research we're going to go through. We have some research we're going to go through, but I did some more this week and I think I kind of confused myself a little bit. So we're going to talk about that in a minute. But I know you have a unique perspective on how mermaids started. So I'm going to let you kind of kick that in.
I think you did, actually.
Oh, was it me? Okay. Oh, maybe this is it. Let me make it bigger. I don't have my bifocals on. So the origin of the mermaid. This is how it happened, folks. There was this person. She was walking through the woods and this bear started chasing. And she got so scared when she jumped in the water, she grew a tail. No, that's not it. All right, how about this one? So what it is in Assyria now, which is now Syria, legend is that, and I know I'm going to butcher this name, but the Atargatis, the goddess of fertility, I guess she got tired of being the goddess of fertility and everybody chasing her around. So she jumped in the water and transformed into a mermaid. But the other god said, hey, whoa, time out, hold up, wait a minute. We ain't going to put all that fish in it. So they said, you can only be a fish from the bottom down. So from the top up, she had to remain the goddess. From the bottom down, she was fishy. She was like Tony the tuna. But that was the origin of mermaids. But my question is, what would make you want to jump in water and become a fish? Have you ever thought about doing that, daughter?
Every day.
Never?
Every day.
Oh, every day.
Every day. every day.
Every day you want to be a fish.
Uh, did you've got another note here that you didn't bring up.
Oh, about the mermaid's kiss.
Yeah, is that a part of the origin or is that something
Yes, that's part of the origin as well. But I didn't say that because I can't really read it. I think it says the
Mermaid's
legend-
Kiss gives abilities. One such breathing underwater.
So a mermaid's kiss gives abilities such as being able to breathe underwater. See, there's the show. So I wonder, Aquaman, did he like get kissed by a mermaid and he got to breathe underwater?
I don't know because he talks to fish too. So
Yeah,
right?
it's kind of weird.
You talk to fish.
Would you date?
I don't know. I'm not like a DC person, so
Yeah, me neither. But would you date a guy that talked? If a guy come up and said, "Hey, I talk to fish," I probably wouldn't even want to have a beer with them.
I don't know. I mean,
It could be interesting.
what are your other hobbies?
I talked to salmon too. Hey, I see granddaughter in the background. Hi, granddaughter. She's
No.
so excited.
She's trying to make deviled eggs and it's not going well.
Oh, I love deviled eggs.
So that there's too much yolk now.
One of the things that we kind of started with that I kind of want to talk about is the different classifications and I guess legends of mermaids. But before we get into that, I want to talk about sirens and mermaids. Because the only difference I can find is one is a pissed off mermaid.
One is angry and one is not.
One's like pissed off and one's happy.
No,
Yeah.
one of them eats the
Well,
fruit.
you know, I kind of went down that rabbit hole too when I did the research because there was mention of both, right? Mermaid and siren. And so I was like, what are the differences?
That's kind of, yeah. And I couldn't find anything except one was pissed and one wasn't.
Well, so I have 4
Okay, let's hear those.
differences. So the first difference is that mermaids are solely aquatic, whereas for sirens, there is some folklore where they're like half bird.
So I always thought mermaids,
Pilots beware.
I'll get you from the air. I always thought there was some lore where mermaids like could come onto land and they would have legs till they went back in the water.
So that was the Little Mermaid.
Oh, okay. So that's got to be true.
The second difference, mermaids are found in all kinds of folklore, while sirens are mostly mentioned in Greek mythology. So that's the second. The third is what you said. Sirens are generally believed to be evil. And then the fourth, sirens are known for singing to lure sailors to their deaths, either by drowning or in some lore, they eat the sailors.
So that song "Eat the Rich" kind of comes into play.
I mean, so
That is a cool song though. "Eat the Rich."
I'm like, why are you so angry?
Yeah. See, so sirens are basically ticked off mermaids, right? That can
Basi-
become birds that like
Basically.
Greek food.
Basically,
One of the ones I found, because kind of going into that lore and legend, one of the ones I found is called Mami Wada, and this means mother of the water.
sounds like a toddler.
And with this, Mami Wada.
Oh, why I'm doing this? What
And
is
then
that?
you hear, you can have a Coke. So in this one, this legend is the gender is fluid. So it can be male or female. So I guess it could be a
Merpeople.
bird. You know, it could be a bird if it wanted to, I guess.
Like
It's
a-
worship
like a
for
bird.
offering beauty, wisdom, and healing. But this would be a nice one because it says it also wards off natural disasters.
Oh,
So that probably wouldn't be a siren.
I would say not.
And I'm just going to start calling them pissed off mermaids because I can't, siren just doesn't come out right for me. So they're just pissed off mermaids.
Are we getting into the different lore now?
Yeah, I just kind of, well, I kind of went into that because we were talking about the split between the sirens and the mermaids. I wonder if there's games like in, what is that movie with the werewolves and the vampires?
What?
There's a movie where werewolves and vampires and they kind of battle. So I wonder if that happens with the sirens and the mermaids.
Underworld?
The mermaids are like, we're all nice, unless we see you, then we're gonna get pissed off. But then do they become sirens because they got pissed off?
I'm having a really hard time following your logic here. Like,
Me neither. I think my mouth is in overdrive.
like you're flying down the tracks, and I'm like, I don't know where you're going.
Okay, let me say this. The reason this is going on, we went to a new restaurant well, it's not new in Smyrna, but it's the first time we've ever been. And they did not have like Coke product. They only had like sweet tea and water and stuff. So I got sweet tea, and this was like syrup sweet tea.
What
like
restaurant is? Never mind. You can't say on.
Yeah, I can't say on here, but I'll tell you about it later.
Give me a hint. Give me a hint.
Well, it's a bunch of folks that are kin.
Oh, okay.
And
really? Oh,
and well, you can buy like a bottle Coke,
yeah.
but they're like almost $3 a piece. So I went with sweet tea, and this was like the best sweet tea you've ever it was like syrup. So I was like really consuming this sweet tea. I probably had 4 glasses. So I'm like on that sugar rush. So like probably in an hour I'm gonna go. But that's why I'm going 1,000,000 to 1. I guarantee you. Plus I can hear it now.
So you went out to eat and had lunch on a Saturday without your co-host.
You have COVID.
It doesn't matter. You're not supposed to do that without me.
Okay. I won't do that anymore. I promise. But trust me. Normally we don't, but I wanted something different today, and it was good, but that sweet tea, oh my God, it was amazing. But I don't even like tea, but it was like sugar.
Diabetic or something?
Yes, kind of, sort of, maybe.
Now you're full on because yeah.
Maybe not.
So anyway.
Oh, back to our program.
Back to the mermaid.
Back to the mermaids. All right.
So the different kind of lore. I'm gonna talk about the different kind of lore that I found.
Okay, cool. Let's do that.
I'm just gonna go through every single piece of lore that I have, and then you can talk about whatever the hell you want to talk about, and then we'll go to sightings. How's that sound?
So in other words, you're telling me to be very, very quiet.
No, you can give your input after I finish.
Oh, okay. So while you're talking, don't give any input, right?
I'll put in some space there for commentary. Okay.
Okay. I'll have some.
I'm sure you will. All right. So the first one I have, it's not really okay. I'm just gonna read it off, and who cares? All right. So sailors from centuries ago, can you hear me? Because I feel like I'm screaming.
I can you're coming in really good. I've got the volume kind of loud.
Oh, okay.
I
feel like I'm screaming.
Yeah. So if you feel like you need to take it back a little bit, you're good. Because I've got the volume up on the soundboard. Because to be honest with you, I wasn't sure how good this was going to pick up with Zoom. So I wanted to make sure it was like really.
Yeah. Well, after we're done, you're going to have to watch this and make sure that it's all copacetic and everything's before we can upload. But anyway.
Oh, you mean like we have volume?
Lessons were learned the hard way.
Yes.
Okay. So sailors from centuries ago claim to have spotted mermaids, Christopher Columbus being one of those. I do have more particulars on that sighting regarding him. But pirates like Blackbeard had marked certain parts of the seas as enchanted in his logbook and instructed his crew to avoid these areas for fear of mermaids or sirens.
Oh, okay.
Insert commentary.
Oh, this is where you want me to talk.
Okay, well, if you don't have anything to add.
No. Cool. So Christopher Columbus, like I'm putting my earphones back in. I can hear you both, So I kind of took my earphones out so I could remember not to talk, because when I talk with the earphones in, it comes back to me so I can hear it.
Yeah.
That kind of reminded me, if they're out, that's going to be my key. If they're out, don't talk. If they're in, talk. Anyway, let's talk about Christopher Columbus. So he's cruising along. You know, Christopher Columbus, I'm cruising this sea. Look, there's a chick in the water. What's she doing in the water?
Well, so okay, if we really want to get into the Christopher Columbus right this
I
second.
want to know how did he
Okay.
how did the spotting take place, and how, I mean,
So this happened in the Caribbean or the Caribbean, depending on what, however the fuck you want to say that.
if you're going,
So he wrote in his
Lord.
ship log that he and his crew encountered 3 mermaids whilst in the water around the island of Hispaniola. I think that's how you say that. I don't know.
Okay. So around Spain.
Columbus documents that the mermaids were cavorting in the water, and when the ship drew near, the 3 mermaids rose out of the waters. But he says that they were not as beautiful as the lore insisted, and that they were actually, in fact, rather mannish. So it's believed that now that what he saw were like manatees, but like this dude was like I mean, he was a pretty seasoned sailor, right? So would he not be able to tell the difference between a half human, half fish and a manatee, like a literal sea cow? I would think so.
If you call a mermaid a sea cow, is that an insult? You'll be sleeping. You'll be sleeping on the coral reef tonight, Bob.
All the mannish. So moving on to the Chinese folklore. The Chinese folklore describes them as these gentle creatures who could turn their tears into pearls and were seen as blessings of the sea.
I wonder if that's where the what was it Pirates of the Caribbean, where they were trying to get the mermaid tear? It was one movie. I don't remember what it was. But I wonder if that's where that movie got that lore from. So they could turn their tears into pearls.
Yeah.
So every pearl is a mermaid tear.
According to Chinese lore, yes.
What? Somebody's been crying a lot. There's a lot of pearls in this world. I can't even speak. It's this show off. Show off.
Japan has a very different version.
Okay, let's hear that version.
So Japan's folklore says that mermaids are grotesque. They bring warfare to land if their body washes up on the shore. Their flesh is believed to grant immortality, but they symbolize storms and bad luck, so sailors stay away from them.
So should we really, I mean, that's wild how 2 nations, and I'm going to say kind of in the same location as far as the continent goes,
Right.
have 2 very different takes on the situation of a mermaid. So I have to wonder, did maybe one experience like I don't know, what you call them, a pack or a flock of mermaids, or
A school.
A school of mermaids. It's the school of mermaids. And the other one, a school of sirens. I don't know.
I think it's interesting that they're like, hey, mermaid flesh can, if you ingest it, obviously you're immortal.
I mean,
how do you know that?
I guess my thing is that proves all around the world there are people that goes, hey Bob, there's a mermaid, let's eat it. Okay. I don't know
if you kill it, right?
Who knows? It's just really odd to me, or I guess strange would be more of the word, even though there's different encounters, they're either like really pleasant or really not so pleasant. There's not like a middle in between, like, oh, they were a little grumpy, but okay.
Yeah. So Korean folklore is similar to China. They depict them as sea maidens, good omens, a goddess that warns fishermen of storms and impending doom is Korea. I don't know if that's north or south. I think it's kind of both. I'm not sure. It didn't specify. British folklore, they believe mermaids to be beautiful creatures that seduce sailors just to drown them for the sake of wrath or entertainment.
I'm bored. Let's
Yeah.
find somebody.
Is this mayonnaise?
Yes, that's mayonnaise.
Very good.
Okay. She literally came in here with a jar of mayonnaise and said, "Is this mayonnaise?"
Hey, inquiring minds.
It's just mayonnaise on the jar. Anyway. I love her so much. In Brazil, tales of mermaids spring from the concept known as Iara, translated to Lady of the Waters. She's known to be an immortal woman that is blamed for situations where men die in the Amazon.
Okay.
Ancient Greek folklore was similar to what we believe today. And African folklore believes them to be diabolical creatures who lure humans to their death.
I have to just kind of going back for a minute to the Amazon. I wonder
Yes.
how that ties into the legend of Amazons. Is there I wonder if there's a tie-in there somewhere. That'd be
I don't know.
an interesting thing to kind of look up and see.
Well, we can do that when we talk about Amazons.
Yes, definitely. I have a question about one I found, and you may have found this one too, and then I'll let you go back to covering the legends you have. One that I found was kind of a Slavic mythology, and it's called Rusaki. And I'm wondering, isn't there like a meditation belief, like a Rusaki or something? And I'm wondering if this kind of plays into that lore. But this is believed to be the ghost of women who died of drowning. They become Rusakis, and they live in the water, trying to exert revenge on individuals entering the water because I guess they believe they drowned them.
Like how many women are drowning? Like that's a problem.
That sounds like an issue that Congress needs to take up.
That sounds like a problem.
It does.
My God.
It really does. Oh, you see on the nightly news and tonight's news. Oh, okay. So I mean but that's Slavic. I mean, and I wonder, is that just like, I kind of wonder how some of these lores and legends kind of transfer over from place to place, because there are some commonalities in them,
Mm-hmm.
but then there's also the either, and sometimes I wonder if it's like a response to environment, whether they're mean or nice. Maybe.
I think if you're really to do a deep dive and try to determine if mermaids actually exist or not, I mean, I think that first of all, you have to go through all of the folklore, right? And the first thing I would do is I would pull out from each
Right.
region or whatever. I would pull out the commonality, right? So half person, half fish. Boom. All right, put that in the bucket. All right. Obviously
You put
aquatic
a bucket
in the bucket,
and you're fishing and you put a fish in a bucket.
Yeah, I mean, but you know what I mean.
Right.
I don't know.
I would like to, I wonder, and I'm gonna have to, because we touched on the surface with mermaids with the information, just kind of going into it, because I'd never really thought much about it. I mean, the only time I ever thought about a mermaid was when I watched that movie that I think her name was Daryl Hannah played in the 80s, and it was called Mermaid, where she was like, comes out of the ocean, she has legs on land, and then she has to get in the guy's bathtub to have water or something. I don't know. Long time ago. But I never really thought about it. But when we started researching this, it's kind of interesting, and it kind of brings up more questions. And I think that's the same way with pretty much, I guess, every series we're going to be doing is probably going to do the same thing. it kind of brings up more questions.
Yeah.
And I wonder, I would like to try to find if anybody out there is listening is an expert or has done research on this. We would love to have
Maybe
you
if we're
on.
9
the show.
followers.
So do some research.
Any of you happen to be experts on mermaids
Yes.
or any of the creatures that we are going to be talking about in this new series, which we
free.
forgot to explain, by the way.
Oh, yes, we did. Go ahead and explain
We
that.
explained it last week.
We
Okay.
did. Hey, we did a much better
Your
job
Majesty.
last week when
Thank you.
daughter was kind of leading the show. This week I did the Zoom and we kind of jumped in. So yeah, it is what it is. Just like daughter's opening a jar. Oh, it's a can. It's a pep. Oh, copyright. Free advertisement. That was not my sweet tea today.
My mom watches these, so I need to make sure that, hey, I'm following what I'm supposed to do, Mom. Love you. Yeah.
Hello. All
Um,
right. So why don't you introduce kind of what the series is?
yes, we should have done this in the beginning, but you know,
So you really can't hear any of my sound effects?
I can't from my end. I don't know if we'll be able, like, you'll have to see if you can hear it on your, you know, when you play it back. But so we finished up the Ghost series. How long has it been? 3 weeks.
I think. Yeah, it was 3 weeks. Yeah.
We finished up that series.
Okay, I have to explain while I'm laughing. I have our voices as babies through the computer. They're normal, but in my earphones, we sound like we're two.
Anyway.
Okay, we're back. Uh-oh, we have 10 minutes left on the Zoom, it just said.
What?
It gives us a 40-minute time limit. Oh, that's why we don't use this platform.
We're not even close to being done.
Right. We may have to do a 2-part series.
Oh my God. All right. Well, anyway, this is our new Creatures and Cryptids series. So
Right. So this is what we're going to go into, and we're going to start with mermaids. We're going to eventually get into like Bigfoot, Loch Ness monster. There's a ton of them, but you also have some interesting information on sightings, and I'm going to let you start in on that. And what I'll do is, if we get down to about 2 minutes, I'll like do this, and then we'll kind of wrap and split it into a second show. I didn't know this had a time limit on it, but evidently it does.
it's ridiculous. Fix
So,
your shit, Zoom.
yes, well, we'll go back to our normal methods.
Next week.
Yes.
Anyway,
Hey,
all
do
right.
we wanna
So
do that? Do we want to go ahead and split it? And next week we talk about sightings and stuff?
or we can just split it and we'll post this and go ahead and do the second show while we're here.
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay.
We'll have to finish the meeting, close the meeting, then I'll give you another link and we'll open another meeting.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep.
We probably should have done this before we talked about all this, huh? But I didn't know that. We're so professional.
Worst ever.
I have another platform that I use.
What do you use for the other show?
It's a different platform, and we actually,
Oh, man.
because we monetized the show, we purchased the platform. But I may have to do that for this, and because these shows go a lot longer than the other shows. Why are we talking about all these shows on our show? It just goes to show. So folks, what we're going to do, we're going to end this one and we're going to wrap it up, but then we're going to start another one, and it's going to be part 2, and we're going to finish off. You want to do that today? You want to take us out in the smoke screen?
Hey, stay tuned for part 2.
Yep, part 2 is coming up. Hey, we'll even be wearing the same clothes, so you're going to be like, don't y'all ever change? It's the same day.
Boats and hoes.
All right, folks, till the next show, which will start momentarily. May the mermaids be nice, the sirens be far away, and may your chocolate chip cookie never contain raisins.
Okay, bye.
Let me